Oh, good evening. Hello there. Let's see if this thing's working. I still have to check it every time, no matter. I'm not the best when it comes to dealing with the streaming and stuff. So, Hey, it's working. All right. So, that's on. So, the thing. Try to get a thumbnail for the YouTubes. Yeah, I'll take this one. Let's see. Pirates. Pirates came and stole our fireworks. Yeah, they are. I think I just need to hit that thing. Let's see. So, go on the YouTubes. StreamYard says it's having problems. Of course. Really? What's new? I want to talk about the moon, Earth and the moon. I'll just put that. I'll just put that up. See if that works. All right. So save that. So it's live. And go on there. How do I do the thing again? Invite the thing. Copy and then hit the button. And then Braxton. See, we can get some Braxton on here. Oh. So I got my noodles. They're still hot. So the Texas flood. I'm gonna go over that real quick. And see if we can find out where it came from. How do I do this? All right. Share the screen. So, all right. So we got the Texas flash floods. So I'm going through the Bing to find out. Oh, what's the most recent? 10 hours. Oh, it was all right, so it was the governor. Oh, how old is this? Oh, so is my volume thing on? Oh, so is my volume thing on? Yeah. All right. So this was just updated. Susan Miller. Who's Susan Miller? I feel like I know that name. USA Today senior breaking news editor. See if I can catch a little video here. Let's. Those baskets are ridiculous. If they get caught in a swirl, throw the whole helicopter down. You got to drop the cage. So there's a camp. Historic flash floods swept through Texas. This is an earlier article from a couple hours ago. This is the Camp Mystic. I heard the camp counselor. She said all the girls were safe, getting back to their parents as we speak and all that. So the girls are safe, apparently. 2 dozen campers were missing. Let's see what Greg Abbott had to say about it. So the Guadalupe River. When was this from? This was yesterday. So they haven't updated that one. Oh, so I hit the wrong button. Why did it rise? So why did it rise? Rose as much as 26 feet in less than 2 hours. Why? Kerr County. Why did it rise? So the extreme rains as much as 12 inches an hour. So I was listening to, let me see if I can find that camp counselor. She's talking about being in the camp. Oh, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it's in my history. Oh, one of the best water parks. Texas flood. Time lapse is insane. Where's the camp counselor? I was watching Batman earlier. Rose go down. Here she is. All right.
Let's bring in a Camp Mystic counselor, Catherine Somerville, who survived the Texas floods with her 13-year-old campers. Catherine is a Kerrville native who has spent many summers at Camp Mystic as both a camper and a counselor. Catherine, I am very sorry this is the reason we are meeting, but I appreciate you speaking with us today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm here to give what y'all need me to do.
Can you share with us when you and your campers were awakened by the storm and how things got worse from there?
So I work over at Camp Mystic Cypress Lake, which is the neighboring location to Camp Mystic Guadalupe River. My girls were awakened around, I want to say 1 a.m. To our power flickering, lightning, thunder. It was terrifying. My girls were coming to our beds, asking if things were okay, asking if they needed to close their windows. And then we urged them to just go back to sleep. We told them it was going to be okay. And then pretty much every hour we woke up to our power going out, coming back on, going back out. And finally around 4 a.m, our power completely went off. We had no running water, no electricity, and our girls were really scared, but we just had to keep comforting them and telling them that it was going to come back soon.
So power's in and out. And let's see who's there's a camper. We'll see the camper in maybe in a minute or two. Let's see.
Would you share with us what it was like when you guided the children out of the camp?
Yes, so the National Guard alerted the owners of the camp that we would have to evacuate around 6:30 p.m. Camp Mystic Guadalupe River had already evacuated due to their catastrophic flooding. So our girls from the dining hall, which is at the very top of a hill, many feet away from the Guadalupe River, which was risen 26 so many feet. So we guided our girls hand in hand to these military trucks, and we all had to get on those trucks, 30 of us at a time, hand in hand, as they guided us to safety.
Camp Mystic Director Dick Eastland died while trying to rescue campers in this terrible disaster. Can you tell us about him?
Dick Eastland was one of the most...
So Leslie Eastland perished in this nickname Dickie, and by all accounts he was solid.
Selfless men in the whole world. He was a inspiration to so many. He was a father figure, a comforting force in the uncertainty of everything. He guided us in our faith and our activities. He always told us to make new friends and make sure and share our love to everyone. One of the most common quotes that he always said every single year, every single term: a bell is not a bell until you ring it. A song is not a song until you sing it. The love in your heart was not put there to stay. Love is not love until you give it away. And he would encourage us all to hug a camper next to us, say a kind word. And that's just the kind of man he was. He was always offering his love, his sympathy, his comfort, his laughter, his joy. He was the most selfless man, I think, to ever live.
Very touching tribute.
The most selfless man to ever live. Braxton, are you there? Oh.
Yes, sir. I'm here now.
Yeah, I'm looking into some of this Texas flooding. Like I said, it was raining 12 inches per hour, which caused the Guadalupe River to rise. I think she said 26 feet. I was checking out.
Our next guest, Tara Bradburn's daughter, Callie McAlery, was one of them. Luckily, she was rescued and is all right. Both of them join us now. Tara, this camp has been a big part of your daughter's life.
It has been a huge part of her life since she finished. She entered at the end of second grade. This is her eighth year. It was her eighth year. We chose this camp. I was a Texan. It was important to me that my child had Texas roots and that faith formation be integral to the part of her camp experience. Living in Virginia, we brought her to Camp Mystic and turned her over to the Dick and Tweety Eastland family and Camp Mystic and their staff because we knew they would love on our child. They would help her grow in her faith and live the Mystic ideals of being a better person and bringing out the best in her. And we are so devastated by what has happened, but truly grateful and thankful to the Eastland family for all they have done and all they have given as a family to save the children that they could. It is devastating for us. And
Callie, the fact that you are, I guess, one of the older campers, you're 16, right? And that put you up on
Yes,
Senior Hill, and that's part of the reason you're alive today.
Yes, sir.
Take us back to the night of July 3rd. I guess everybody in your cabin, is that what you call them, went to bed?
Yeah.
Everything seemed normal?
We went to bed thinking it was just a normal thunderstorm. 1 minute you see lightning strike next to your cabin, and next you hear water's coming up, and you have kids running, just trying to get to other cabins, trying to get to safety. And luckily my cabin was one of the few cabins that did not get water, but the cabins in front of us did get some water.
even up on Senior Hill. And I think, John, that conveys to you how fast the water.
And water coming into your cabin, and what, counselors alerted you? How did you, just what
We
happened?
heard so we heard 1 second, it was really bad thunder. Like I woke up to a big giant sound of thunder and lightning striking. We had one of the campers run in and say, "Hey, our cabin's flooding." And we had some cabins. I knew some girls slept on trunks that night. Some girls had to share beds. Some girls slept on floors because they couldn't go back to their cabin because it was so flooded in 3 cabins. And the next morning, we had some of the older girls went back to their cabin to see if they could find anything. I remember one girl walked out with her Bible, and she was so happy just to have her Bible.
It's
One of the hardest hit spots from the flooding, as Mike mentioned, is Camp Mystic. And so they called those that were missing.
State and federal government to assist in the search and rescue.
You know, Riley, we are prayer partners. So, little girl who was spared home, her own clothes at the time. And so these little girls and these camp counselors, you're going to hear heroic story after heroic story. These camp counselors are counselors. Again, 750 girls in this camp. And we have 27 missing, and we're not going to give up looking for them. We're not going to give up looking for them.
So
yeah.
that was 19 hours. What's the latest here? That was July 4th. This was July 5th. So what's from today? Anything from, all right, this is just updated just like 20 minutes ago, something like that. So authorities on Sunday were in a desperate search to find those still missing after historic flash floods swept across central Texas, including, so there was 10 missing children from the Camp Mystic. So far, 81 people dead. Covered bodies of 40 adults, 28 children. So the Guadalupe River surged 26 feet in less than an hour. It dumped 6 months worth of rain over the Texas Hill Country. 41 people known missing. Known missing. Yeah, so like by the river, that's a thing. You go camping, and then RVs and things like that are confirmed missing. So days, crews have been working around the clock to find the missing, and they're gonna keep searching till everybody is found. Oh, Trump's going to Texas. What do you say? Probably on Friday. So it's upcoming Friday. Trump said that he would just be in their way. Here's Judge Snell. So there's a timeline. Abbott warns dangers next 24 to 48 hours. On Sunday's news conference, they expect storms that will pose life-threatening danger over the next 24 to 48 hours. So if you're in that area, I don't know how, I mean, if you don't have internet, you don't have electricity, how are you going to get these warnings? So what do you think, Braxton?
Yeah, I haven't posted nothing. Well, I haven't posted much on my Facebook or on my excuse me, on my Twitter X or MeetWe about it. But on my Facebook, I came across one posted video of a young woman. Her home was flooded. Flooded up. I think it was flooded. I think the water went up to their shins, and her dad is on the deathbed because he's unfortunately on hospice care. So she made a recording video pleading and asking for assistance and for help. And her and the others living in her home, they lost pretty much everything. All of them, and each of them had lost their own cars. All their cars had got swept away in the flash floods, and she said her home is starting to smell like sewage. I was like, dang.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a lot. It's just a tragedy of one family. It was a young guy, 27. He sadly had lost his life trying to keep the rest of his family safe. And I think he had kids. I don't know if he was. I'm assuming I don't know if he was engaged or if he was married. I don't know. So yeah, so I think they said I don't know the death. Oh, I think I'm wrong on this. I think they said so far they recovered 16 bodies. I think it was 16. The death toll is either 16 or it's 20 something people. But I know it's gonna rise.
I thought they were saying they've already recovered over. So right here says 79.
79. Okay, like I said, I knew I was way off on that. So yeah, over 79. Dang, over 79 people. Dang. Well, a few people I know out there are okay. Well, one guy, an older guy I know of, he lives out there. He marked himself safe in the flood. Yeah, so him and his wife and his son are okay.
So this one says now 81. That was half hour ago, 81. Oh. So what caused this rain? What caused this to go all historic? I started,
Well, I mean, it was just ongoing. I'm guessing it was my best guess. It was ongoing rain. It was like who knows how many. I don't know how many days it rained, but it was. I'm assuming it might have been. I don't know, a week, maybe a week's worth, or maybe either a week. Yeah, I'm guessing a week's worth, or maybe 2.5 weeks, or maybe a 2.5 weeks worth of torrential downpours.
I think I just read something along the lines of it was like 2 months worth of rain in like 6 hours or something like that.
Oh, 2 months for shoot. I don't know.
All right,
Hanging
so
over.
I started to look into the why, and so I've always known that the moon it controls the tides and everything on Earth, right? So when the moon's closer, tides are harder, or however the thing goes. But the moon and the Earth's water levels are directly impacted. I've known that, figured that out. I learned that when I was a kid. So I started to wonder what's going on. Is this is a full moon, and so the full moon is actually on the 10th. And being a few days away, on July 9th and July 22nd, there are going to be unprecedentedly short days midway through the year. Since 2020, it started ratcheting up. I started noticing something in 2017, but they're saying since 2020. So I think there's a got a in 2024 on July 5th, it was minus 1.66 milliseconds. It was the LOD. Following table shows the shortest length of day in every year for the past 5 years, together with 3 possible dates of the shortest LOD in 2025. So not only are we going to have a full moon on July 10th, but the day before is going to be what looks to me like the shortest day. So they're saying that the Earth is spinning faster than normal. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. Earth's variable spin speed. Our planet is an almost but not quite perfect timekeeper. On average, from the point of view of the sun, Earth completes one full rotation on its axis in exactly 86,400 seconds, give or take a millisecond or so. 86,400 seconds is another way of saying 24 hours. A millisecond is 0.001, considerably less than a blink of an eye. Blink of an eye is 100 milliseconds. The only way to measure these tiny day-to-day variations in Earth's spin speed is with atomic clocks, which were introduced in the 1950s. So the length of day, number of milliseconds above or below. So the Earth's speed up. In 2020, the shortest ever recorded by atomic clocks was negative 1.05 milliseconds. This means that the Earth completed one rotation with respect to the sun in 1.05 milliseconds less than the 86,400 seconds. Since then, however, Earth has managed to shatter this old record every year by around half a millisecond. The shortest day of all was negative 1.66 milliseconds on July 5th, 2024. The Earth is expected to get close to that, and I was going to go back and look at what last year's 4th of July was, what happened with the weather then, but I'm pretty sure I have some sort of recording of what happened. So why is all this happening? Why is the Earth accelerated, and when will it slow down? These are difficult questions. Long-term variations in Earth's spin speed are affected by a long list of factors that include complex motion of Earth's core, oceans, and atmosphere. Some famous scientist said, nobody expected this. This cause of acceleration is not explained. So I have noticed this in recently, since I'm going to say 2017. Things shifted. There was apparently a slight polar shift in 2017. So what do you think about that?
Interesting. Ugh.
Let's see. Found 2017. Oh, yeah, here it is. Australian Geographic. So here's this that's 2017. So this article, where is it from? February 8th, 2017 by John Tardino and Vincent Hare. So Earth's poles could be headed for the first reversal in 780,000 years. Talking about how the Earth is blanketed by a magnetic field and what makes the compasses point north. You might imagine the magnetic field is a timeless, constant aspect of life on Earth, and to some extent you would be right, but Earth's magnetic field actually does change every so often. On the order of several 100,000 years or so, the magnetic field has flipped. Like, when they say it flips, that means like the whole planet literally shifts from one side to the other in just like a flip of a coin, like you're, heads to tails. And then the magnetic field becomes weak. And we've noticed I've noticed with the UV rays when I was growing up, it used to be UVA and UVB were, what came off the sun. Then they introduced UVC, ultraviolet C, which is a magnitude larger than the B. And then around 2017 is when I was working outside and my eyes started kind of burning, and I started looking into the UV, and I got these glasses which are UV A, B, C, and now D rated. So let's see. Currently, geophysicists like so buzz in the realization that the strength of the Earth's magnetic field has been decreasing for the last 160 years at an alarming rate. This collapse is centered on a huge expansion of the southern hemisphere, extending from Zimbabwe to Chile, known as the South Atlantic Anomaly. So, the magnetic field strength is so weak that there is a hazard for satellites that orbit above the region. The field no longer protects them from radiation, which interferes with satellite electronics. And as the field is continuing to grow weaker, potentially portending even more dramatic events, including global reversal of the magnetic poles. Such a major change would affect our navigation systems as well as the transmission of electricity. So then they go into the genesis of the geomagnetic field. So when these climate alarmists are like, oh, we got to do something about climate change. There's nothing we can do about climate change. It's not people. It's not cow farts. People who think that climate change is because of cow farts and extra, emissions on fuel or whatever. I mean, we have more fuel efficient vehicles than we did, 10 years ago. I mean, there's barely any cars on the road that were around 20 years ago. I mean, you have to have like a special tag on your car. I got my my little car, it was 2006, and it's made in Germany, and it's more, you know, it's more less, produces less emissions than a car made 10 years ago in the U.S. So, but you know, you don't have a lot of cars that were made around in the U.S. still around, unless somebody's kept in their garage or barn. They call them barn finds. So I'm not on that bandwagon of. I'm just. It's like we're on a big blue marble, and there's some kid that's playing marbles. What's the game of marbles that where you hit all the things and you have to hit the marble, and as closer you get to the marble, you hit the marble out of the circle. That's what it's like. In my understanding of things. How about you? Did I lose you?
No,
No.
I was listening.
So, what's your understanding of the way the climate change? I mean, do you think that we're really affecting climate change?
Well, the evidence is all the way around, so yeah, the planet is being affected by it, and the people who's helping causing it.
Well, the Earth, I mean, from what I just witnessed, tends to wash itself off from Texas. I mean, that just basically washed itself. It's like giving itself a bath. If the Earth didn't want us here, it would kick us off.
Well, almost everybody.
Almost everybody.
Yeah. Well, let's just say, for the people messing up the Earth's core and the Earth's environment and everything. Well, there's only basically people who has if you can say the UVA, UPV protection. Those like me are the ones who will be getting through the climates like now and what's to come if things don't change. Because why do you think we have like more violent storm seasons, hotter summers?
I mean, I just read the evidence from the scientists that they've been collecting. It's because we're losing our magnetic shield, and the Earth, the sun is in a are we in? I think we're in a grand solar minimum. Let's see if I can find the grand solar minimum. So in a solar minimum, there's less sunspots. They call it a rare dearth of sunspots. So the Earth burps less, and there's less. What do they call it? The CMEs, coronal mass ejections. I mean, so you say the evidence is there, but it's not science. I mean, science says that if we warm the planet, we create more CO2, the plants are actually going to do well because they're going to have more of everything that they need to live, and so we're going to actually have more plants. And
photosynthesis.
And they've been researching solar influences at the Royal Observatory of Belgium since 1749. So, and astronomers began recording sunspot numbers as early as 165 BCE. When is So there's a catalog of sunspot observations from 165 BC to AD 1684. And so they've compiled a catalog for like 2,000 years. Plus. Now plus. So this publication was 1987. I don't know, with survival going through that, there's I don't think skin color is just the one thing. I think it has to do with more than just, I think it's hereditary. I think there's genes involved because I've met people that, I mean, they look like cavemen. It's like, your family's been around since before Adam and Eve.
Yeah. Well, black people are the oldest group on the planet, so yeah, they've been around for pretty. So yeah, they've been around before time was time.
The cradle of civilization.
But they were never cavemen.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. But I mean, when I think of cavemen, and I sort of associate like the fair-haired, like the Irish, because that's they didn't develop, that time outside, right?
Yep. The Caucasus Mountains. Yes, you're absolutely right.
It's interesting. I was just looking at. I follow the moon. Been doing it for a while because I more often than not, when there is an unusual moon, we get unusual storms, and I get unusually busy, and I have to gear up for. I know a storm is coming, and I know it's going to be bad, so I'll rest up for like 2 or 3 days before the full moon, so that I'm ready when it comes. And I like a couple times this year we had these micro moons, and I knew it was coming, and so I rested up a couple days before and got my mind. But then right after the full moon, it was like boom, boom, boom. It was like 24 hours a day, 3 days after, and then for about a week and a half after, it was 60 hours, 70 hours a week. And then we had, so what was the first micro moon of the year? So I do follow that stuff. All right, so we had a micro moon April 12th. And then that turned into a super new moon April 27th. And we had a micro moon May 12th. So it was right around that time that we started getting storms around here that started knocking all the trees down, and I think it was the busiest I've been in like 3 years. Chasing storm damage. So got then we had, we had a called the strawberry or the harvest moon, pink moon. I think it was last month. And the storms right after that were pretty bad. Then on August 23rd, we're going to have a black moon. Where's the black moon? Oh, we're going to have an invisible moon. Believe that shit? The next black moon, August 23rd, in most of the world, and is on August 22nd in Western Time Zone. Black moon is the opposite of blue moons. So monthly black moon is defined as the second new moon in a single calendar month with 2 new moons. So basically it's a new moon, so you're not going to see the moon. So they call it a black moon. So there's two new moons in August, right? So do you follow the moon at all? Like, is it a thing you do?
No, not really. But I do try to get a good view of it whenever it's out.
A stargazer?
Oh, not really. You know, if the moon is out, it looks good. I'll take a quick look at it. But it is interesting to think in whether the future's bright of of what might be on the moon in the distant future.
What do you mean?
Well, what type of business or company or maybe a military base on the moon in the future, if the future is going to be bright? If.
Next time I think about it, I'm gonna start. I'll pull up some of my pictures of the moon. You watch the Star Wars, the Return of the Jedi, those sorts of things.
Yeah, I've seen so far 3 or 4 Star Wars films so far, I think.
You know the bounty hunter Boba Fett.
Mm.
Have you ever seen his ship?
Yes, I have.
So basically, when it takes off, he's looking straight up, but then when he takes off and he's flying, he looks straight ahead. That shit. I've seen those coming off of the moon. I've got pictures of them. I've got. I had a telephonic lens that let me capture what basically looks like little cities on the moon and things coming off of them. So I've been okay that we have moon bases for years now. I mean, I figured that out a long time ago, and I just wonder why the public don't know about it. Or, I mean, there's astronomers out there. They've got all the pictures. They've got things that it's like, but nobody believes them. I don't know. I'm even gonna guess you don't believe me. So I'd have to go find those pictures. But yeah, I've got pictures of stuff coming off the moon that look like those Boba Fett spaceships.
Nice. Well, one time back in 5th grade, when we were all in this little program called Aerospace, we touched rock. Well, we seen and touched rocks that came from the moon. Like, they didn't fall to Earth. It was some rocks. It was like some rocks from the moon that astronauts had brought back to the Earth. So yes, I've touched moon rocks before.
Yeah. So, also, do you remember hearing news reports about? So China put up satellites around the moon, the backside, the dark side of the moon. Right. Apparently, we can't communicate as long as you're on the dark side, you're on the backside of the moon that you can't see from Earth. Apparently, you can't communicate with those satellites. But we've got satellites all over the moon. I mean, there's almost as many satellites around the moon that are around there as we do on Earth. And the gravitational field is much smaller, so they're much safer. There's not as much interaction with them because they don't have that same pull towards the moon. And apparently, from news reports I read years and years ago, the Chinese had the whole backside of the moon mapped when they sent their stuff up, and they just, China doesn't share with anybody. And it's just it defies logic. It defies logic that we have not. I mean, we just the greatest. What do they call it? The greatest stealth mission in history with bombing the nuclear Iran. It defies logic that we don't have stuff up there.
Mhm.
In my opinion, and when I saw it with my own eyes, when I saw it through the telephoto lens, I'm like, okay, and nobody's gonna believe me. I'm like, oh, I'm sitting here. I'm like, Braxton doesn't even believe me. He thinks I'm a nut job.
Yeah. Well, you're not the only one. There's plenty of crazy people out there. When people see whatever they see, yeah, I say yes. A lot of information is hidden in people. Well, like for instance, for a good long time, sightings in Roswell, New Mexico. People still don't believe it, but hey, so people are gonna believe whatever they want to and not believe whatever they want to. So one person is gonna look at the other person, as crazy, and vice versa. But hey, you're trying. But hey, you're China, so you never know with China, and plus you never know with America either. But what were you about to say?
I was going to wonder what it is, So I know. I mean, I literally know global warming is not being caused by humans, but you have an opinion that it is, but I don't think you're crazy. But I mean, I see.
And after what you told me, I don't think you crazy. That would sound crazy. I still don't think you're crazy. Like I said, you don't sound crazy compared to most of the things I've heard over these past 13 years. So no, you are not crazy.
And I know crazy when I hear it, and I don't know karate.
Same here.
But I know crazy.
I've heard crazy things as in the person needs to spend time, away while under a conservatorship or power of attorney type of crazy. That's the type of crazy talk I've heard throughout the years. Yeah. Craziness to that level.
Well, did you have a good week?
But hey, we heard it all. I'm sure you have to, especially because you've been around longer than me. And as far as my weekend goes, yes, sir, my weekend was all right. And yours?
It was pretty good. It was. I worked really hard all week, so I could take Friday off, and then I took Friday off so I could watch the fireworks in our neighborhood. And we've got a new neighbor. Not new. She's been there for a few years, but
she hasn't been living there very long, so she's still relatively new.
Yeah, and she parked her car right where we do our fireworks in the park every year, right? So there's a little strip of parking right by the park, and for whatever reason, a couple of years ago, she decided to park her car there. on the 4th of July when we light our fireworks off, and the whole neighborhood's been doing it since I moved here in 2014, so a decade now. And nobody parks there, and we all know the whole neighborhood comes down and everybody pitches in, and it's a neighborhood thing. There's usually a crowd, maybe 100, sometimes 120, 150, depending on who's around and whatnot. But yeah, everybody stands around the park. We all watch the fireworks go off, and we all have a good time. Have a belt of whiskey. People have coolers and stuff, and they drink the beers and everything. And the one guy in the corner, he always sits on his porch and smokes a cigar. But this lady decided to park her car there. Couldn't find it whose car it was a couple years ago. And then so we're like, oh, and so we started lighting them off anyway. And then by the end of the night, she came out. Not just that first night, the first 5-10. I mean, we used to light them off for about a good half hour, sometimes 45 minutes. And she came out at the end of this loud fireworks display, and she's living right across the street. I mean, it's like 15 yards tops away from where we're lighting it off, and comes out afterwards and starts yelling at everybody that their car's all messed up, the paint job's all messed up. So we all pitched in, got our nice touch up for a paint job and everything. This is what we do as neighbors. But last year she wasn't home, but this year she parked the car right there again, and we got maybe 5-10 minutes into lighting them off. The fire marshal shows up. So the fire marshal never shows up because we've been doing it for 10 years, but he showed up as soon as we started lighting them off. And she ruined, I mean, so we can never do it again. We can never have that enjoyment again. Because this one lady, she got butthurt a couple years ago, even though we all fixed it, made it right. She got butthurt. So I got
Shoot, man. Well, shoot, that's her. She can be butthurt, because if she's been living there for a couple of years, not very long before a couple of years, then she should have already known about that spot that y'all use to set off fireworks and firecrackers and stuff, and you and a couple of people where you live at pitch in, to help repair her car, free of charge from her, and still she does the same thing again. I said, well, like you said, hey, that's all on her. So she must not have wanted a car.
Well, the fire marshal took all our fireworks.
All because of her. Like I said, but hey, it's all good because hey, her car got look, fire marshal had took it. So fire marshal came. The fire marshal that came, it took out fire and get your firecracker privileges away, and she got her car messed up. So hey, it's a loss on both sides.
Well, no, her car is fine now. She knew it was coming, and so because when the fire marshal is really cool. I've got a neighbor who has a burn pit out back, and I've got a burn pit. He's come out and checked my burn pit. I'm good. It's far enough away. It's perfect. his fire pit's okay. It's perfect. The fire marshal, he's real cool. Known him for years. So when he came out and he told us, he said, we got a call. This was even before dusk. Even before it started to get dark, he got the call that fireworks were going to happen in the park. One person called him before we even started. So we all, as soon as he said that, the whole crowd of us turned and looked at that lady's house. So if she was looking out, watching us all get busted, she saw us all turn our head directly toward her. So guess who's not going to get help in the next whatever. I mean, we're still going to help. Of course, we would still help her.
No, no, I wouldn't have done that. I say y'all should not, but hey, y'all do what y'all do, and y'all. I wouldn't have done nothing else for her.
Yeah, but no, that's kind of neighbors. Of course, we would help her, but that's your first instinct. You
Tell her to go find some other neighbors. Shoot.
exactly go find another neighborhood to live in, and that was pretty much the look. I think the whole group of us looked, and why don't you go find another neighborhood to live in, where this is acceptable behavior? I think that was the general feeling when because it was literally all of us at once looked over, and then we all looked at each other.
Oh, shit, I should have help nothing. She better help herself. Go. She better help herself. Go. She better help herself to go to somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, we're the type of neighborhood. If someone has something going on, over the winter I left my window down in my car, down the street, and my kid comes running home, and he said he got a text from the girl that was living in the house right across from where my car was parked. And so he came running home because he didn't have his phone on or whatever. So he came running home. Was like, Dad, your window's down. The snow's getting all in there. You got to. So, that's the type of neighborhood we have. Just look out for each other no matter what.
Shoot, man, to make it better, so somebody next time, as long as she's gonna be in the neighborhood, somebody needs to either slash her tires or siphon the gas or something.
Nah, it's not the type of neighborhood we have. We would just leave her alone, and karma will take over. It's just not. Nobody's gonna run out the door to help her. Like, oh, that which lady? Oh, that lady, and then we'll have to think about it for a second. Like, I gotta go help that lady.
Shit, like so, yeah. Whenever something happens, I say she better not come up to neither one of y'all. Y'all better be like, girl, bye.
Right? She better live the perfect life. Better live clean. Because I know people around here do not mind calling an HOA and giving a violation out for somebody not mowing their lawn. That's the type that would be the type of thing people would do. It's like, oh, she didn't mow her lawn, and she'll be getting you didn't mow your lawn violations for the next 5 years, whether she mowed her lawn or not. But yeah, other than that, it was a good week. It helped a lot of people. We had the storms. We had a couple storms over last weekend, and I helped get a whole bunch of people straightened up. So I built my karma up. My karma's good. But anyway, coming up on 11 o'clock. But thank you for hanging out with me.
Sure, welcome.
All right. Well, I'll catch you next time.
All right, sure. Catch you next time.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Yeah.